Hi, my name is Tanya. I'm a strategy and marketing professional from Toronto, Ontario. When I first started working with Becky, I was coming to the end of a 5-year journey in management consulting. I was an engagement manager at a strategy consulting firm where I'd spent most of my time advising brands in the consumer goods and retail space. And prior to that, I worked in the loyalty marketing industry as a brand manager. So, the main reason I decided to seek Becky's support as a career coach was because my life had changed so dramatically over my 5-year journey in consulting. I had become a parent, I had a dog, I now had a home, and I was really trying to evaluate what I wanted this next chapter of my life to look like. I felt a little bit lost, and I really did not know which path was the right path for me. So I felt that working with a career coach like Becky could help me gain some clarity on what my objectives were, what success would look like, so that I could create a plan and go after it for this next phase of my life. And at the start of our engagement, that really could have looked like anything. It could have been anything from starting my own business to going back to industry in the field I worked in marketing before consulting, or pivoting to a brand new industry post consulting. So I really was appreciative of having somebody to help me set some guardrails and get a little bit more focused on my job search and career exploration strategy. So Becky's support was instrumental to me throughout the entire job search and career exploration process. But most importantly, I think that Becky's support was most helpful to me when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. I really felt like I had a world of options in front of me. And, at times I wondered if I should start my own business, if I should go back to marketing, work in maybe HR, which was a budding interest of mine. And to be able to have a coach sort of sit down with me and say, okay, well, what are your objectives? What are your career aspirations? What interests you? What are your personal aspirations? What does a perfect day look like for you? How important is work-life balance? To ask these kinds of questions and then give you some examples of what sorts of paths could fit those criteria is very, very helpful. Becky also was there for me during some of those really hard decision points. There are times where roles came my way, either through a headhunter or through friends, and they seemed super exciting. And in perhaps a different season of my life, they would have been an opportunity I would have jumped at. But in having a coach work with me on getting really clear about what my goals were for my next move, I was able to focus my energy on the roles that were most important and not get distracted by shiny objects. I also had moments where I went pretty far down the path on certain roles that I was excited about, and at times didn't land the role or decided to pull myself out of the process. And having somebody to encourage you when there are dark days along the process is very, very valuable. So I really appreciated Becky's ability to help me gain clarity on what I want to do next, to focus my energy, building that plan, and then giving me the confidence to go execute it and not, get too bogged down when there are speed bumps along the way. The value that Becky provided me was just so much clarity. I think it allowed me to get focused on a plan, to prioritize the criteria that I was after, to think about my life goals and my career goals together and create a plan that helped achieve both simultaneously, and really to allow me to feel just confident in executing that plan. Because I was feeling so uncertain about which path to go down, and asking all these what if questions. If I close this door, open that door, what's that going to look like? It was just so helpful to have somebody coach me through the process of what that would look like. And, Becky never really forced her own advice or her own ideas of success on me. Even at times where I was facing really hard decisions, she has a way of coaching that allows you to get to the answer through your own intuition and your own goals and aspirations. And that way you feel just confident in the decisions that you're making. So that boost of confidence in actually going and executing my plan is something that was worth its weight in gold. So after working with Becky, happy to share that I've taken a role as Director of Partnerships at Ethica. Ethica is an amazing technology company that was acquired by MasterCard about 5 years ago. And so I'm excited to be joining sort of this entrepreneurial new venture arm of MasterCard. And my skill and my focus will be on working with retailers and consumer goods companies to enhance their consumer experience and prevent things like fraudulent charges in the future. So I'm really at now achieving those goals of working in an entrepreneurial setting, working in sort of that startup or scale up environment, while also in an area that has focused on all my expertise to this point. Overall, I just can't recommend working with Beckie enough. It was a transformative experience for me to have someone that helps you build a plan, set goals, and go after your plan with confidence was an amazing experience. I feel that no matter what the outcome would have been, if I had landed in industry, landed in a startup, or even ultimately decided to pursue my own entrepreneurial venture, this process would have been so worth it to help me gain that clarity and confidence to take this next step on my career journey. So thank you, Beckie.